With Chapter 6 Season 2 ending incredibly soon, I thought I'd throw my opinions out there since I have a lot to say about this season. In my opinion, Lawless is a very strange case when it comes to Fortnite seasons. On one hand, it has had some of the best, most content-packed updates I've seen, yet I've noticed myself and many others be turned off from the game and the season in general. Despite how good the locations, the unvaults, the new weapons, the updates, the quality of life improvements have been, it's based on something that Fortnite players have seen over and over and over again. The main and most obvious reason I feel the gameplay is so stale is because Epic has milked this heist gimmick dry. Chapter 2 Season 2 and Chapter 4 Season 4 had vault heists as their entire theme, and ever since Chapter 2 Season 2 there has been some sort of iteration of the vault mechanic in every single season. While each one of these heists across the season has had their own unique mechanics and loot, for instance Chapter 4 Season 4 had a random mythics, and Chapter 6 Season 1 had a more puzzle-like vault that you needed certain items for, having yet another heist season just feels really repetitive. Along with this, I feel like the season's implementation of vaults were overall worse than the last heist season, Chapter 4 Season 4. While I really do love the addition of throwing thermite at the vault and having the primary fight be against other players rather than yet another bullet sponge boss fight, I feel like what you get from the vault is not at all worth it. Each vault has a guaranteed 2 Dilbit spawns, which you can use to obtain mythics, exotics, boons, and other items at 3 black markets across the map. This is where my main complaint lies. Unlike Chapter 2 Season 2 or Chapter 4 Season 4, where you were guaranteed the mythic by killing the boss or entering the vault, in this season you have to go completely out of your way to a different location to get any worthwhile loot. Outside of the vaults though, the loot pool was very unique and solid. All of the guns from Chapter 6 Season 1 stayed, with the exception of the Surgefire SMG and the Fury AR, along with all of the mid-season unvaults that happened. Lawless also vaulted the Typhoon Blade, which was definitely a good call when it came to balancing. It was replaced with a Kneecapper, a baseball bat that was much more balanced in terms of mobility and combat. It was far from perfect, but I do think it was a lot more healthy for the game than the sword. The other new loot pool additions for the most part were nothing to write home about. The Striker Burst AR from Chapter 5 was unvaulted with hit scan, the Mana Pistol was added back and completely dominated yet another meta, and the Falcon Eye Sniper Rifle is completely useless because the Mammoth Pistol's in the game. The Collateral Damage AR has the worst name for any gun outside of the Scoped Burst SMG, but I overall do really like how the gun plays. It plays much more like an SMG, but is a bit better at medium ranges, making it decently versatile. The other Red Dot ARs are a lot better when it comes to range, but I do think that this is a better alternative than last season's Fury AR. The Gold Splashes and Mid-Miss Smoke Grenades are actually pretty cool healing items. I especially do love the Gold Rush mechanic with its faster pickaxing speed, and I overall do think that this was a really decent day 1 loot pool. And it was a huge contrast to what we had the previous season. The Chug Jug was also unvaulted, but it now healed in increments of 10 health rather than taking 15 seconds and healing the full 200. This is a long overdue change in my opinion, but I'm still really glad to see it finally implemented. Speaking of quality of life improvements, reboot bans got a massive overhaul this season. You can now both buy reboot cards down teammates instead of going all the way over to them, as well as buying better loot and heals upon reboot. Both of them use gold. That's not like the microtransactions or anything. Outside of the gameplay, the battle pass is hot garbage. I think this is like a bottom 10, maybe even bottom 5 battle pass. I can't remember the names of like half of these skins. I think Outlaw Midas is at least a bit cool. Fletcher Kane has a cool design for a villain, but it's not anything I'd actually use in game. And I feel like having a collab tier 100 for like the 1000th time is just kind of a cop-out, however cool he may be. Big Dill can burn in the deepest pits of hell, and I hope he never appears in any other season, and I think the super styles are just kind of meh, especially after the Chapter 6 Season 1 super levels that in my opinion were incredibly unique. Back to the positive aspects of the season, however, the updates were surprisingly good. They definitely fixed a lot of the mid-season content problems from the last heist season, Chapter 4 Season 4. The most notable part for me was them fixing a very crucial part of heist seasons, that being the loot. While Chapter 4 Season 4 had the same 11 Vault Mythics for the entire season, never having them rotate a single time, Chapter 6 Season 2 added 3 new extensions to the black markets that were updated to contain a total of 8 mythics and 12 new exotics. The exotics weren't bad either, with weapons like the Shockwave Rocket Launcher, Trinity AR, and Rift Launcher being some of my personal favorite exotics that have ever been added. There were also plenty of new items and weapons that were added throughout the season, such as the incredibly unique pump and dump shotgun and SMG, the rocket drill that was basically an upgraded rocket ram, the really satisfying outlaw shotguns, along with the new medallion and melee weapon for the Mortal Kombat update. Oh yeah, the Mortal Kombat update! I was personally a really big fan of this one, even though I've never been a huge Mortal Kombat fan. I'm personally more of a Tekken guy myself. I still did think that the locations they added were really cool. I loved the living forest near flooded frogs. The pit was super awesome and really cinematic, and I completely forgot that the dead pool existed. Another way Chapter 6 Season 2 really succeeded was the map updates. Throughout Chapter 5 and especially Chapter 4, they'd kind of gotten rid of the small map changes that would appear throughout the season. Examples of this are like the Rock Family or Hut Watch in Chapter 1, the Decay Spread in Chapter 2 Season 8, etc. This season had little things like the stages of the Portal and Magic Mosses, the Diamond Mini Vaults being constructed, the previously mentioned Mortal Kombat POIs, and the Dilbit mines where you could break servers and actually get Dilbits from them. The most important one of these, however, are the Black Market expansions, where you could get the aforementioned new mythics and exotics. While this is a good idea on paper, having them be an extension to the already existing black markets, in my opinion, made the problem of the black markets having no loot even worse. The combination of how easy it is to get the Dilbits without robbing a vault, and every single new mythic being chucked into the existing 3 black markets, meant that all of the lobbies were guaranteed to have all the good mythics and exotics scooped up in like the first 3 minutes of the match, leaving you with either nothing or only a couple of the bad ones. Like for instance, I'm just gonna go into a game right now and show you firsthand how easy it is to get these mythics and exotics from these spots. Okay, so this is like my first attempt, like honest to God. I have not done this. I'm literally just loading onto the game for this one specific task. What the hell are you doing, bro? Okay. Alright, let's just go down here. Oh shit. There's something coming. Open up this thing. There's a guaranteed legendary and Dilbit that spawns here. Up. Just as usual. And there's Brutus's minigun. About a minute and a half into the game, the first storm circle has not even spawned yet, and I already have this. Oh, hello. Okay, just ignore that. I feel like if they had just made new black markets for these items, then this problem would have been a lot less bad, as it would have made players decide which locations to go to get these new mythics and exotics, rather than having them all be clumped up into 3 spots. All of these updates happened within the first months of the season release, surprisingly enough, and there was still over a month left in the season. Everything I have mentioned up to this point had happened up to the time of V34.21, which occurred on April 1st. There was not a single new content update for the rest of the season. Like seriously, they went all out for the first half of the season, and then the rest of it just had nothing. Literally the most we got in terms of content was the Magic Mosses portal being like changed slightly, and then the rocket ram and business turret were unvaulted. Other than that, everything was the exact same. After all the content, all the new additions, everything they added, the rest of the season was just radio silent. So aside from the reused season concept, I feel like this content drought was the main reason I and many others just completely lost interest in this season. Overall, I do think this season was good. I'm someone who focuses a lot more on gameplay and updates rather than things like cosmetics, so personally, even though the Battle Pass was god-awful this time around, I do think main BR was really great gameplay-wise. In my opinion, this season evolved to have one of the best loot pools in the game's history. My problem with it is how you obtain these weapons. Again, having them all clumped up into 3 little areas just encourages the lobby to spam drop at these 3 POIs and then leave nothing for the people who actually do the main objective of the season. It's definitely better than Chapter 5 though, where there was an obvious best loadout throughout all the seasons in the chapter. I just really think this season would have benefited a ton from some of the smaller changes I mentioned, primarily spreading out the black markets and updating the game consistently throughout the season, rather than having all the content being stockpiled into the first month. Either way, I still enjoyed this season, despite its many flaws. It's just such a strange case because there are so many aspects about this season that are perfect and I absolutely love, yet the base of the season is just so overdone. I'd say that like a 7.5 out of 10 is justified, but from day to day, it can fluctuate in my mind between like a 5 and a 9. The season was just so weird. That's all from me though, and if you somehow made it this far in, first off, thank you, and second off, I'd love to hear what you thought of the season. Let me know in the comments, as I really love hearing other people's perspective on these kind of things, and thank you for watching. See ya.